We knew this was going to happen for about 5 minutes, so it's not like we're in shock. But I will remind us again, this is a 3-game winning streak now for Magnus, and Alireza changes his openings, Danya. Will he change the King's Indian in the next game with Black?
It's hard to say, and sometimes you react emotionally to a loss like that. I think the King's Indian has served him well, right? It got him his first victory in fantastic style. I think the culprit there was the move c7, c6. At the same time, he might feel like Magnus is adjusting to his particular treatment of the King's Indian, which is not conventional. Alireza has a very expansive opening repertoire, but 1d4, right? As a lifelong e4 player, this tells us he wants a new set of positions. He plays one of the most contentious, heated opening variations of the Nimzo, the Samish, where you build up a huge center, but the c4 pawn is in Black's crosshairs, and the knight often visits the a5 square, which it's going to do momentarily.
This is a very, very, very dynamic choice.
He's not h5.
Yeah, he's not trying to play this for any form of a draw. Somebody will win or lose this game just simply by the degree of imbalance. Dani, you pointed out the c4 pawn for white is weak, but oftentimes Black takes so much time to win it that he gets there and goes, why did I do this in the first place? My entire position is collapsing.
I'm pretty confident this is still preparation, because knight f6 to h5, now the queen replaces the knight. He's not worried about hg, because the queen now protects the rook, so white doesn't have, or at least the sting is taken out of the move g4. Magnus in his element once again. You're right, Levy. This is the moment where Alireza has to show his mettle in this first segment, because Magnus is feeling really confident right now.
Yeah, when Magnus is singing songs while playing you, it's probably not a good sign. He was not singing the first 3 games.
Yeah.
Long castle, and Danya, it's been 13 moves. White has the whole set of pieces on the back row.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say White has the whole set of pieces on the Etienne.
Yeah. I knew it. I knew what I said.
It,
yes,
right?
I
the
did.
person who sets up the pawn. That's the one who should be thanked, but Etienne Bacro, MVL, name of French GM, none of the... The issue is that if you play knight e2, you blunder the c4 pawn. Maybe bishop d3 should be played, but the big problem is Magnus is going to start chipping away at white's center, and once it starts crumbling and the position starts opening up, then Black's development advantage is going to be at the forefront, and it might be the deciding factor here. f6 on the board.
It was f6, yeah. The way Magnus has played this position is one that we tell beginners, which is develop your pieces, castle your king, you know? And we say you gotta get strong enough to get better, but you gotta get strong enough to break the rules. But this is kind of an example of why, Danya.
Yeah, I mean, white is finding a lost cause here. f4 is the blue arrow move, discovering an attack against the knight, but the black queen can slide over to f7, then f4 is also actually going to be hanging.
It's not a good sign that every move for Firouzja to improve his position is another move not developing a piece.
Which means another move of the pawn, and he's found this one, f4, but queen f7, it's a possible move. G4 is also possible, shutting down the king side, but you don't want to shut down any pawn tension if you can avoid it, because every source of pawn tension here is in black's favor, given the development advantage he's got.
Absolutely. He can even take on f4. He might as well begin opening the position, right? Just
sacking the knight and then taking on g3 and taking on e5?
Absolutely. It depends, because we have seen a relatively impatient Magnus, but queen f7 is full of patience.
And now g takes f4 is the obvious straightforward threat. Knight to e2 would be my instinct, but the problem is gf4, fe5, then the f-file opens up, the rook's going to slide over. Something is going to give here for white. That's the feeling that you get. Can Alireza pull some wizardry out of his hat? He's not wearing one.
I don't know. I'm really not sure. This is not good for Firouzja. He can't wait for this segment to end.
There's 8 minutes and change left in this first 90-minute segment. I agree. He wants this to be faster paced. His intuition, his bullet skills, he's the bullet champion. That's what he wants to harness. But you can't go in with a 4-point deficit. And he's close to that right now. He's close to a 3-point deficit. Down in 2 minutes. I don't see a move here. I'm looking at the eval bar 0.8. That's meaningless. This looks a lot worse than that.
Yeah, it's never good when you can't think of a move. And just to be clear, the computer is saying that the best move for white is to start taking and opening the position, which I'm not sure any human being can do here.
Can I just show this crazy line that seems to be the only... It's to start, as you said, Levy, by voluntarily exchanging everything on the king side, putting the queen on f3, which is logical. Now black has a lovely tactic. You can trade on f3 and exploit this undefended rook with knight to f4. This is happening, by the way. Alireza has started well by trading on g5. Now rook takes h8 allows knight takes d3 check, loses, but white defends thanks to bishop h7. This is the only move. Now black can now give a check on d3, but white just steps aside with his king. This is the path and how narrow it is.
It's happening! It's happening!
And Alireza would not be in the SEC finals, neither would Magnus if they couldn't reproduce engine lines. It's all happening.
But did he see bishop h7, or is
Maybe, but he's about to, because it's the only move, and he's going to see it now, and he's going to play it.
He has to.
There's nothing else.
He might also try king d2, which loses to a really long forcing sequence of moves, but, I mean, if he's got to find bishop h7 if he wants any hope of winning this match.
And Levy, the problem with king d2, as well as rook takes h8, it's not that you lose a piece immediately, it's that you're going to lose a piece on the f-file, because both of your pieces on the f-file are undefended. So Magnus is going to take the rook, return to f8, and you're just going to start dropping everything. The c-pawn is going to drop, the knight's going to come to a5, and your position is going to crumble. Alireza was oh so close to having real chances here, but rook f8 is going to seal the deal, and knight a5 now.
Yeah, and Magnus is finding every move instantly, like a Terminator, just not even
Oh my gosh. And look at this, he's going to put a pawn on g4, create a stronghold for his rook on f3, domination here.
And he's going to take on c4, maybe even with a bishop. He could take it with a knight, but even with the bishop is probably good enough.
Knight takes c4 check here, you could start with g4 if you want to be really clinical. Then knight takes c4, throw in rook f3, and only then pick up the knight on c4.
Everything is winning. Everything is winning.
And look at the time advantage as well. It seems he's been up 2-3 minutes every one of these last 4 games that he's about to end again.
Just to point out, and there we have a resignation, Magnus Carlsen has a